Welcome to Layn Turo University. This is Conrad Layn here. I'm going to share what not to do with your Turo business, and I'm going to go through just a few different experiences and perspectives and things I've witnessed and seen and that have occurred. But first and foremost, get your insurance situation taken care of, meaning, first and foremost, don't commit any type of insurance fraud. Don't lie and say, for example, this has been an often common problem when, for example, if you have a Turo plan, and your guest gets in an accident, some hosts don't want to pay their deductible. For example, maybe they have a Turo 90, for example. They don't want to pay that $2,500 deductible. So instead, what they'll do, they'll contact their insurance company and say, you know what? I want to file a claim with my personal insurance, and I was driving the vehicle. Let me do it that way. That's a lie. That's a fraud. That's fraud, and that's really bad. You can actually go to jail for that. You can actually do time for that. You can also be penalized. Don't do that. So don't commit any type of insurance fraud. Instead, if you have a Turo plan, select the Turo plan that you think you can afford. Don't try to use your personal plan to try to cover it. You don't want to pay a high deductible. It's not worth you doing jail time and getting caught, especially when you file a personal claim or any type of insurance claim. Insurance companies are notorious, and it's common practice for them to record you. What you do say will be used against you. So they're going to state that, hey, you said you were driving on this day, and if they find out that it was actually your customer or your Turo guest that actually was driving the vehicle and not you, that's fraud. That's material misrepresentation. Don't do it. Next, do this and consider this. Keep your Turo insurance cards inside the car. Now, based on your state, city, municipality, and country, I make videos for the world, not just for a specific locale. So this changes across the land. So what you need to find out, and first and foremost, is if it's a law requirement for you to keep your insurance cards inside the glove compartment. If it is, then that means you just have to follow the law at that point. But if you're in a state or city or municipality where you do not have to do that, don't do that. And I'm not your attorney. I'm not your legal advisor. I'm just stating that oftentimes when guests or Turo customers get in an accident, they will furnish and give your insurance cards to your personal insurance, and you'll have a claim against your personal insurance, which is bad. It has a negative impact on you that will increase your monthly payment, because if they have to pay out and it wasn't your fault, they can actually end up bring up the price of your policy, which is not good for you. Second, that gets you tied up into a commercial dilemma, because oftentimes some companies do offer commercial coverage while being rented, but for the most part, and I've been in insurance license for over 8 years, most insurance companies have a disclaimer in their policy where they say something along the lines, I'm paraphrasing, and I'm not your advisor, I'm not your attorney, I'm just paraphrasing and giving my opinions. It says something along the lines that we will not cover as soon as you actually rent your car out or drive your car, say with Uber, Lyft, or rideshare. Your insurance policy does not cover. So that does a few things. Second, however, it alerts your insurance company that you're using your vehicle in a commercial practice, which that's fine, but do understand that that causes you issues where they might actually cancel your policy on you. They might say they don't want to cover you any longer. So just keep your insurance cards out of the car unless you legally have to. And if you legally have to, meaning it's by law, not because it's recommended. If it's by law, that is what it is. But if you just put the Turo insurance cards that you easily print online or through your app, leave that in there. It has Turo's information, has Liberty Mutual policy there, and that's what you want to use. That's a commercial policy that you can actually keep inside the car that should satisfy your municipality's rules and legislation. But always do your own due diligence. I'm just your friend on YouTube, and again, my videos are for the world, not just for one locale. So rules change based on the demographic. That's the next rule. So that's what I recommend. Next but not least, always have trackers on your cars. I've had issues where my cars have been stolen, they've been compromised, and I actually have a video I left below as well where I had a nice little trip to Mexico. And I went to Mexico, I drove there actually to go pick up a car from US Customs because my car was compromised and stolen, and some people attempted to commit a crime in it, and they actually rented the car and they actually stole it and didn't want to return it and got in trouble in Mexico, and my car was over there. It was seized by US Border Patrol. So the problem is this: Tracking will help with these type of situations because you know where your car is, especially if it has kill switch. Consider getting tracking with kill switch. And if you don't have tracking with kill switch, that's fine. At least track the car so you give it to the local authorities. They can follow your car, track your car. If you have kill switch, you cut the engine off and they can't go anywhere anyway, and get your car as soon as possible. I learned that. I went to go to Mexico to go pick up my car because my car was stolen, and I left a video below showing proof to that I actually did experience. This is a real occurrence. This was a Turo guest, unfortunately, who stole the car, and most of my experience with Turo guests have been phenomenal. But you always get a few bad apples, just how it is. But at the end of the day, I got my car back, went there, got it as soon as possible. If I would have not done that, I would have had to wait 3 to 6 months for my car to actually be returned back to me. I would have lost more money and just would have never made sense. It just would have been sitting there. So instead of doing that, I decided to get up, put some sweat equity in, drove there myself, picked up my car, and brought it back. Crazy but true story. And now it's back renting and it's been doing better than ever. So I highly recommend having tracking so you know what's going on with your car. Very, very important to do this. Always consider this. Next but not least, and I left another video below that I did a few months ago as well about gray market transactions. Don't commit gray market transactions. What gray market transactions are is when you accept cash, but there's also some misrepresentation of gray market transaction. It's not just cash. It doesn't have to be cash. It could be for a favor. It could be for a service. It could be that simply you do this. You pick up someone and you drive them for free. That could be technically a gray market transaction. Be very careful about committing these. What it simply means is, yes, if you accept cash from the guest after during the trip or after the trip, that could be deemed a gray market transaction. But also offering a ride to, say, the airport, and everything, or offering to do something in a way that where the Turo trip hasn't ended yet. If the Turo trip hasn't ended yet and you're accepting money or for a service or reimbursement, don't do it. Just use the incidental tool. Don't go down that route, especially during a Turo trip. If you're gonna do anything, make sure it's after a Turo trip, but don't accept cash, especially because that's just first is a bad look. Second, it's a gray market transaction. You can lose your whole account for that, and it's just not worth it, people. So always avoid doing gray market transactions. It's not worth your career, not worth your profile, not worth your future monies, not worth it. I don't care if they want to pay you for the tires, for gas reimbursement. Just put it through incidental. No, don't do that. Don't give them any rides. They can lie on you. You get in a lot of problems. Don't do that. If you're in an accident, then you're trying to use Turo insurance. That's a gray market transaction. Or you have to go through your own personal insurance, and then that's a problem because that's a commercial liability. Basically, you're giving a Uber and Lyft ride. Now, it's different if you're actually an Uber and Lyft driver, and at the end of your Turo trip, you offer a ride because they book a trip through the Uber app. Then you're covered through Uber and Lyft, and you can actually do that. That might change tomorrow. Might change. Your terms and conditions always change. I left another video below where it goes in detail where that's the correct way to do it. If you're going to give a ride to the airport, don't accept cash or money. That's a gray market transaction. The way you do it is if you're an Uber or Lyft driver or sign up for it to become an Uber or Lyft driver at the end of the trip, and it has to be at the end of the trip, can't be during the trip. Now you can accept a ride, and now you're being paid through Uber and Lyft. You're on their policy, and that's not deemed a gray market transaction because now you're working for pay, but through the Uber and Lyft app. That's a hack. I left a video below for that too, and you just had to watch it, people. Just there's a lot of things you just shouldn't do, and I could go on and on and on, but those are just a few of the top ones that I've noticed that you shouldn't do. There's a correct way to do something and a wrong way to do something. Again, don't commit any type of material representation. Don't lie. Don't try to use your personal policy in a matter of where you're trying to use it as a commercial policy. When, say, a guest gets in an accident, you don't want to pay that Turo deductible of $2,500, for example, or whatever deductible you have. You try to use your personal policy or someone else's policy. Don't do that. If you get caught, you do get recorded because you have to file a claim. Don't do that. Don't give free rides or don't give rides during the Turo trip. If you're going to do anything like that, do it the right way. And I left a video below where it become an Uber or Lyft driver, something where you're paid through an app at the end of a Turo trip, so it's not a gray market transaction, and so that you're not actually on a Turo policy. And that way, as long as the trip's over, if you turn on your app and they order a ride and you so happen to get it, you can do it at that point. I left the video below, and that video also has the article that supports this as well, so there is proof there you can do this, but that's the right way to do it. And again, just no gray market transactions. Don't accept cash. Don't do that. And put tracking on your cars. Again, recap, put tracking on your cars. Don't be that person where your car is out there and you can actually get your car stolen, you get them off you cheap for $50 to $100 typically. Yes, you get more expensive ones, but put some basic ones on there at least. Track your car, know where it's at so you can tell the authorities or go get the car yourself. Very, very important. Please do this. Just follow what I'm saying, do your due diligence, and you'll be okay. There's always risk and liabilities in business, but there's a much more higher upside as long as you offset the risk with strategic with strategies, pretty much. And that's how you do it. And last but not least, I'm gonna leave one more tip. I could go on and on about what not to do. Do not answer questions that the insurance company asks you from the other party, especially if you weren't driving the vehicle. But I recommend you do, and contact your own attorney. I'm not your attorney, but contact your own hire car rep and let them, or claim adjuster, and let them speak with them directly. They do record calls. You might say the wrong thing. You might not know what to say. They might trick you. Don't do that. Just simply do your part and let Turo, I'm also a hire car host, let Turo or hire car or anyone answer on your behalf. They have practice, they have attorneys, and that's how you do it. And thus, things you don't do while owning a Turo business. Love you guys. Like, subscribe, share. Conrad, Layn out. Peace.